Oh, is that picking me up? Yeah, she's picking me up.
Alright, well, good luck.
G'day.
Welcome. Welcome to the very first episode of the ETI Podcast. I'm John. This is Jane.
G'day.
G'day. We thought for this first episode we'd have a chat about why we're actually doing the podcast and sort of our musical beginnings, I suppose you call it.
And the whinge and bitch about the music industry.
So why don't you start us off, mate?
Yeah, you can start us off.
Pretty much, we've been talking shit about doing some sort of podcast for too fucking long, and we thought, why not just do it? We're always talking shit to each other about music and everything in general, so we thought we'd cover anything from music to fucking movies, games, pretty much whatever we fancy talking shit about at the time. And let's go from there.
Just took us all this time to get it started.
Pretty much,
months.
yeah.
A few months, like a year.
Yeah, a few months too.
It'd be
about a year.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah.
So hopefully you all like it. If you do, sweet. If no one watches it, too fucking bad.
Yeah,
Pretty
that's fine.
much.
Don't have to watch it, you can listen to it. It's a
Exactly.
podcast.
Watch it, listen to it, whatever's going.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
What do we talk about now?
I suppose if we have a chat about how we got into music.
So you can edit all this,
Start.
can't you?
Yeah.
Well, we don't have to. We can just go raw dog it.
Well, we're going to have to edit it now, aren't we?
Yeah. Well, what got you started? Like guitar and music and everything.
Pretty much, I grew up in a very musical family.
Yeah.
Grew up listening to a lot of blues and rock. Mum and Dad were very involved with music, so I grew up pretty much on, Jimi Hendrix, fucking Stevie Ray Vaughan, The Doors, ZZ Top, AC/DC, Pink Floyd, Eric Clapton. Like the fucking list goes on. And even to the point back in the day, got my first tape deck. Made myself up some mixtapes.
Made yourself a mixtape. That's sad.
When you're a young cunt, when you're that young, you don't understand what a mixtape is. But I remember sitting in front of the stereo, fucking queuing up the song, and then fucking waiting for it to come on. You hit the fucking play and record at the same time. Yeah. Shit like that. And then later on down the track, when I was maybe 8 or 9, Dad got me a CD player, and so I went out fucking down cash converters like with me $3 and bought my first CD, which was AC/DC High Voltage. I don't know if it was just because Dad was sick of hearing that fucking CD playing over and over again, but he walked in one day and he gave me 4 CDs that essentially changed my life, if you want to fucking put it that way. Gave me Black Sabbath, Motorhead, Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. And then I was like, I thought AC/DC was heavy. This is fucking heavy.
That's straight into it.
So getting into that at like 8, 9 years old, and then a friend of mine at school, he goes, "Oh, have you heard of Metallica?" So he gave me the Metallica Black album. I was like, "Fuck, I thought that was heavy. Now this is fucking heavy." And then so I went down the local CD shop and went and looked for Metallica, and the only Metallica they had in stock at the time was Ride the Lightning. So I grabbed that, and quick unpopular opinion: Ride the Lightning is Metallica's best album, not Master of Puppets. Ride the fucking Lightning. Just put that one out there real quick. And from there I just found heavy as shit, like fucking, like we were talking about the other week. Yeah. Channel V's Heavy Shift. Yeah. Found a lot of music through there. I'd fucking record that at night, watch it the next day. Yeah. And so then from sort of Metallica, I then got into like Machine Head, Sepultura, Cradle of Filth, Pantera, all that sort of shit. And just got heavier and heavier as I went. And I started introducing my brother into music. Started him off with Maiden, like I started off. And then next thing I know, he's bringing me shit to listen to, like Trivium and Lamb of God and Devil Driver and shit like that. So then I went into that sort of thing, and from there I found other bands like Chimera and shit like that. And old mate Ben, who's actually a mutual friend of ours that we didn't know was a mutual friend at the time. No. He started getting me into a lot of music. So essentially, you got me into a lot of metal bands without me knowing it, because you were giving Ben all these bands to listen to, and he was chucking them onto me. That's how then, discovering shit like fucking Static X and everything
else from there.
Sort of there and in between. And yeah, as the years went on, it just got heavier and heavier, and now these days I'm listening to shit like Behemoth and Watain, Dissection, shit like that.
Heavy shit. So you went from AC/DC to like black metal.
Pretty much. From the age
it's a
of,
leap.
yeah. Well, like I said, I grew up on like AC/DC. That's what got me into playing guitar. Was
Yeah.
when I was like 5 years old, I wanted to be Angus Young.
Yeah.
And yeah, now I'm fucking a bit older than that. Don't want to be Angus Young anymore, but yeah.
Yeah.
What about yourself?
No, nothing long story like yours in terms of musical inspiration. No one was really into music in my family. My brother was into hip hop, and he's like 10 years older than me, so it was like a lot of Ice Cube and NWA. Played when I was your age, getting into music. And then pretty much year 7 at high school, there was a band program where people could learn to play guitar, keyboard, bass, drums, whatever, as a band, and you got to skip a period a week. So it's got
So fucking sign me up.
So I signed me up, and I joined within like the first half. I was in 2 bands, so I could get out of 2 school lessons a week and do 2 drum lessons essentially. And so that got me into drumming, and then everyone was playing a lot of Nirvana. Like in terms of being a cover band, everyone was playing Nirvana. So I thought, I need a CD so I can learn something, because I didn't have anything, because there was no music in the house really. And I went to Target in a good old town of Albury, and the lady at the counter, I walked up and said, "Have you got any Nirvana CD?" And she looks like exhausted of the question. Then she's like, "Oh, no, try this." And she literally just handed me a copy of Slipknot's debut album. So I'm like, that's cool.
That's a fucking jump.
It is, yeah.
Nirvana to Slipknot.
To Slipknot, yeah. And so I was like, okay. And it was just like $19, and I had $20. And that was my trip to Albury that day. So I went home and listened to it, and I was hooked to Slipknot. Yep. And then every band after that pretty much got introduced to from the Heavy Shift on Channel V, or what was it on MTV? Headbangers Ball.
Headbangers Ball.
Back when they had those 1 hour slots, and that got me into. So by the end of year 8, I was into Cradle of Filth, Static X, Slipknot, Mudvayne, all the kind of new metal. I wouldn't really say Cradle of Filth. I wouldn't really say Cradle of Filth and new metal, but that Midian had just been released, so I saw the film clip for Her Ghost in the Fog. Yeah. The 3-minute film clip, didn't realise it's like a 6-minute song, so it was good to like hear those extra bits, but. Yeah, so it was pretty much TV and school that got me into music. Yep. And no one really influenced what I listened to. But similar, I would listen to Triple J. They had like the heavy thing at 10 o'clock at night or something on the radio. So I would make my own mixtapes as well. Didn't know what mixtapes were back then, but
neither did I was just make them.
Yeah, I was just like hitting record every time I heard a good song come on, and like some people have done, like I would not study the music. I don't want to say I studied music or anything by listening to it, but I'd like try and understand the lyrics by writing it down from what I thought they were, and half the time I was fucking well wrong. It didn't matter. So yeah, that's what got me into music. And then in terms of drumming, I'm not going to give all the credit like a lot of people to Joey Jordison, because when I hear a band, it has to be something unique. It can't just be generic heavy metal. Yep. I'm not going to say bands who I think in generic heavy metal that have a decent following, but it can't be something generic. It has to be something where the drums are doing something different, the guitars are doing something strange, or the singer's voice, the sound of it, the growl, whatever, is like nothing else. Yeah. So the thing that got me onto Slipknot really was the drums. That was the first time I ever heard drums played that fast, so that hooked me into drums. And then the way Corey sings and raps and all that stuff. Through the album, that was different. I never heard anything like that. So.
Well, and growing up on Ice Cube and all that too, you're
the hip hop was like there, and I sort of found that element. I think that sort of drew me to like the back end of the album where there are those. Yeah. Or he doesn't have a bit of rap in there, or
even spit it out. He's
exactly.
Plenty of bars in that too.
Exactly, yeah. So I was attracted to those songs at the end of the album rather than like Sick and Eyeless and Wait and Bleed and all that other stuff. Like they were good songs, but I prefer the other side of the album personally. But then like Mudvayne, for me, the drummer is something different again, similar to Slipknot. He's doing something different than the singer for Mudvayne, Chad, whatever his name is.
Chad Gray, yeah.
He's a different animal as well. Like he's just the sound, the tone of his voice is completely different to any other metal singer that I know.
I liked him as well, because when we used to do the band thing, and I was starting to get into, when I said fuck it, we can't find a singer, I'll just sing and play. Yeah. My two, I suppose you could say, main influences were Chad Gray and Corey Taylor. Yeah. Because they've done the screaming and they've done the singing.
Yeah. I think that was big for me, is to have an equal split. And in terms of like, I do like some black metal, but I think it's more mainstream black metal compared to stuff like Cradle of Filth and
some
Dimmu.
elitists will go, oh, Dimmu and
Yeah,
Cradle,
exactly.
they're not black metal, but it's just fucking metal.
It's music to me.
Who gives a fuck what
To
genre
me,
it
it's
is?
just heavy metal. I really don't put it in a genre. But like Cradle of Filth, I love those guys. I've seen them twice in the last couple of years. They've been to Perth, and I'd like to see Dimmu Borgir, but they didn't come to Perth this
We
round.
talked about
last
that.
round.
We're talking
It was
about
a bit
do
shit.
we take a flight over
Yeah, it was almost worth it,
Yeah.
but things didn't line up.
next time round?
I can't listen to Behemoth because every time I hear a song, it's just too slow for me. Like, and
Too slow.
Yeah, like I don't know. It's just all like drony starts to songs. I'm like, no, fuck it. I haven't got time to sit here and wait 30 seconds for the
Then
song
you
to
need to
start.
listen to their earlier shit.
Yeah, probably. But even then, I'm probably not gonna.
That's the thing, like we're talking about with the MTV and all that, and fucking like Headbangers Ball and fucking Heavy Shift. That's how you're saying you used to hear songs on the radio. You press record. I do it with VHS.
Yeah, we
I'd
did the same
fucking
thing.
record it and then I watch it through and I'd be like, fuck, this band's shit. Fast forward, or oh, this band's good.
Yeah.
And they introduced me like Slipknot. I think first one I heard was Spit It Out.
Yeah.
And I was like, who the fuck
Oh,
are
with
these
that
guys?
film clip.
The film clip and all that, and
What was the
fucking
film clip of again?
pretty much horror movie.
No, it is. But what's that movie? I can't even think of it right now. Jack Nicholson's in it.
Here's Johnny.
Yeah, that one. Fuck, I can't think of it. I was only thinking about it not earlier today.
I'll go and blank on it too. It's not Silence of the Lambs.
No, that's Cannibal. That's Hannibal Lecter.
Fuck, when I was putting my DVDs away the other day, it was in my hand.
Shining.
The Shining.
There you go.
Yeah, because as the twins and Joey's riding down the hallway
Yeah,
on his
yeah,
fucking
and
trike.
Clown and Chris were the fucking twins.
Yeah.
That one. That was
So I got into them, and then also like I said, Pantera. Found Pantera through that.
Yeah.
Also Mudvayne, all that sort of shit. Korn was another big one.
Yeah.
When Korn came on the scene, and then like I said, a lot of the other shit was through Ben. Like, he was trying to get me in like Static X work, because I love Static X. He tried to get me on Fear Factory. I wasn't really a fan.
Yeah, I like one. I've listened to a few of their albums, even their early stuff, and Digimaws me for their sound is what I'd expect from them. And
I
none of
think
their
that's
other
the only
albums
album
are as
of
good.
theirs that I've still owned.
Yeah, it's the only album I've bought. I've listened to quite a bit of it, their other stuff, and I just really can't get into it. But like Static X is a big band for me because there's a lot happening in the music.
I think our love of Static X, that will probably be a podcast just on its own there. But as
what
you're
else?
saying.
Oh, fuck, I lost train of thought. So yeah, well, there's just really no musical influence in my life. All the bands I found on my own, and because of the times, TV and the radio was all newer heavy metal bands that were coming out, so I wasn't really a fan of Pantera, honestly, until only a few years ago.
Yep.
I've still never listened to Damage Plan, the album. I've got it, I bought it, I just never listened to it.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan personally.
I want to, but to me it's not the same without Phil's voice behind Dime's, or in front of Dime's guitars, or however you want to lay that one down.
That's the thing as well, even with new bass player, they didn't have Rex on it.
Yeah, I know, it's really just the brothers and a new band, wasn't it?
Well, the bass player ended up in Hell Yeah. That's the bass player from Damage Plan is in Hell Yeah.
Oh, righto.
Fucking, what do they call him? Fucking someone Zilla. Not Godzilla, but whatever.
And again,
his name
as
is.
much as I love Mudvayne, I can't get into Hell Yeah. I've tried.
I liked their first album. I didn't like anything after that.
I've years ago, when I moved back to the Eastern States, my brother had it in the car and we listened to it, and I just really couldn't get into it. So all the older bands like Metallica were around, and the first album I ever heard of theirs was the Black Album. And to me, like, yeah, it's okay, but it's still not. To me, it's not a great album.
Well, I suppose
to me that was their Nickelback album, because there was so many like hit tracks and radio tracks that were on that, and to me that's like, if a band's just trying to do that, then they're just trying to, like, you got to make money, and I get that, but it's not.
And they made a shitload of money out of that.
Yeah, I get that, but to me it's just like they just sat around and said, oh, how can we make $1 today? It's not, should we write good music? And a lot of the tracks I don't even like on that album, so I mean, it's just because it's catchy.
When we used to do the cover band thing too, that album's a good one to go to, because every cunt and their dog knows that fucking album.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I don't mind playing this stuff, but to me, I'm not a huge Metallica fan.
Well, that's the thing, but even if we got up and done a song like Creeping Death or fucking Seek and Destroy or something like that, everyone would be like, what's this shit? Yeah. You play Enter Sandman or Sad But True, Nothing Else Matters, everyone's up dancing, singing along.
Yeah, exactly. And I get why. That's their That's their pop metal album to me. Like, don't quote me on that for fuck's sakes, but that's what it is to me. It's a
Metallica's Black Album is pop metal.
It's a pop. I'm not a huge Metallica fan. I like them. I like.
Are we talking pop metal like?
No.
Baby metal.
What do you mean baby metal?
You haven't heard them?
I don't
Little Chinese or Japanese girls.
Let's not get to that. Because you'll piss me off. But like I've listened to a lot of their older stuff, like their first couple of albums, and I like that thrash.
Yeah.
But in terms of thrash metal, I'm not a fan of like Anthrax. But I like what Metallica did in the early days, and I actually prefer, like, a lot of people hate or not hate, but they just think Saint Anger's not a good album. I actually quite like it. I thought it was a good album. But that Black album, or the self-titled, whatever you want to call it, was just, to me, it was too commercial for a metal band.
Well, a lot of people say that, the Load and Reload was shit. I agree about Load. I don't like Load at all, but Reload I thought was a fucking good album. And Saint Anger, I didn't think it was that bad. I think if that wasn't a Metallica album, that would have been a fucking good album.
Yeah, it's because
everyone's going, oh, this is the next big fucking Metallica album, this is going to be good. Yeah. And then they come out with Saint Anger.
And they had that documentary leading up to it.
Yeah, I think that fucked them.
Some Kind of Monster.
Some Kind of Monster, yeah, that fucked them big time.
Yeah. So,
what other bands have really done that to be able to go like, alright, we're just going to let ourselves out there, shows what we're like?
I don't think it fucked them. I think they should have released the album as an album. I don't know, did the album get released first? Because personally, I know I watched the doco before I went and got the album.
Yeah. Pretty sure I did too.
So I don't know. I that's some footage I probably would have wanted to release like the next year or something.
Yeah. I think it might have because it came out around the same time because that's when they wrote the Saint Anger album.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, did they write that, release it, and then release the album, or was it released together
which was released first
as a digipack? I don't know what it was, but yeah, to me that I would have fucking separated those.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I do like that because I wish more bands would document the recording. I want to see more drummers doing tracking. I want to see more guitarists and vocals. You never see someone in the booth. Like, every now and then you get a hit of someone in a band singing and like recording the vocals. You don't see a lot of it. I'd prefer to see more of that.
That's why I love buying like I still buy CDs, and I love buying the twin packs where you get the CD and the making of the album DVD. Yeah. But I can sit there and watch them DVDs over and over again.
I've got the Mudvayne for the beginning of All Things End, or whatever their second album was.
Yep.
And it's got, like, I always used to go back and watch Matt, the drummer, like, do his bit. And the bass player, because Ryan's a freaky bass player.
Ryan's fucking he's an awesome bass player.
Poppy and slappy and plucking and all that sort of shit. He's insane. So dang, 10-hour video or whatever it was. So I like watching him play bass. I've actually just YouTubed him on bass, even if it's just like an instructional, just like watch him. His technique's really good. But I like watching all that sort of stuff. I like watching drummers do the tracking. I would have loved to have seen Joey do the tracking for the like Iowa or the first album. That would have been cool. Jay Weinberg's a drummer. He's a good drummer. I don't want to see him do tracking. I don't know why.
That's your loyalty to Joey.
And that's not even biased. Like, hearing Joey play the drums made me want to play the drums. But there's more influential drummers. Like, going back to Mudvayne again, Matt, the way he, like, there's certain songs where he's just doing some weird fills and just weird bass beats and all that sort of shit.
Like, I didn't know who your influence were directly.
Yeah.
By watching you play,
Korn.
It was like you're a mix of fucking David from Korn, and John from System of a Down. You had that sort of groove, laid back, like you're playing some technical shit, but you're just like, I'm just fucking rocking out.
Yeah, see, and that's
playing Slipknot essentially.
I didn't get into Korn till like after I was really into Slipknot, Mudvayne, Cradle of Filth, and a few, and Static X. I didn't get into Korn till late, like the back end of Issues, like before Untouchables came out. Yeah, it was when I was sort of really into them.
Whereas the first song I heard of theirs was Blind. So I was into them pretty much from the beginning.
I'd heard a heap of them, but I wasn't really like a fan. I wasn't into the music. And then I picked up their DVD they put out years ago, Deuce or whatever it's called. I've still got it. Yeah, and it's just like backyard clips and home video clips. But then it's actually
piss out of head behind the lemon.
Yeah, and but then there's like there's footage of David playing the drums, and like what he does is pretty cool. And I always hated two toms directly over the bass drum, and I didn't know it was a possibility to move them over. I thought that's just how it had to be in year 9 and year 8 and year 9 and all that sort of stuff. Well, you're only going off what you see. Exactly. I was taught like the hi-hat goes here, the snare's here, the bass drum's here, the toms are here. the cymbals here. I'm like, okay, this is really
Well,
fucking
that's like
unco.
Chris Adler from Lamb of God. He's
Yeah.
actually left-handed,
Yeah,
but
he's,
he was playing the other way around because,
that's
like
what
he
he's taught.
said, that's how he's taught. But I'm pretty sure now he has one on either side.
Yeah,
doesn't
a
he?
hi-hat either side I think is perfect for people in general if you've got like almost a mirrored setup, I think.
Yeah.
But like seeing the Corns drummer David, the way he had his setup, I instantly moved the hi-hat further forward, so now I'm not like this,
Yeah.
I'm more like this. So I felt a bit more open, a bit free to actually do something, to learn something different, because I felt very shitty like that. I hated it. And then having the toms over just made more sense because
Yeah.
it's easy access from the snare drum. And then I moved the full tom sort of away and up, which made it more of a line, and just like different things like that. So Korn's definitely been the biggest influence in setup, music style. What I'd prefer to play if I ever was in a band and doing it professionally, it would be that style.
Well, you buy a drum kit again and we can
Yeah.
knock that out, mate.
I don't want to be doing blast beats for 90 minutes. I wouldn't enjoy that.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I remember we used to be able to bring in a song or whatever, and like I said, you would be laid back or whatever playing the song. But then there was a drummer years later after you had went off to the army at that stage, I think, and we brought this young bloke in, and he was having trouble with one of the songs. I showed him a video that we used to have of you playing, and I was like, look, one of the things Gene used to do, he'd just play a simple beat to start with, then he'd go home and he'd come back the next week with all his fills and everything else put into place. And I showed him this video and he's like, yeah, but he's playing very simple. I was like, yeah, but listen to what his feet are doing. And he's like, oh fuck, I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
And it's like, just because he could visually see you going, he's
I was
like, what's
boring.
that?
I am a boring person to watch at anything. I'm not active. I'm not like you watch Travis Barker play the drums and I couldn't do that.
Oh, yeah, he's full
You know
on.
what I mean? Like he is on the Joe Rogan podcast and Joe's like, how do you do that? He's like, yeah, it's really high impact on my limbs. And I'm thinking to myself, just longevity. Like being in the fitness industry, I want longevity. I don't want to be beating myself up
Oh, yeah,
to
he
the
hits that
point
shit
where
hard.
I need rehab just because I play the drums. I was like, that's kind of stupid. And I mean, even like Dave from Korn had to miss all those tours in the 90s because he was using really heavy drumsticks and he fucked his wrist.
His back as well, didn't he? At one stage, he done his back.
No, I don't know, maybe, possibly, who knows? But he took time off just because he couldn't grip a drumstick. And they had Mikey Borden, or whatever his name is, from Faith No More,
Yeah.
cover it, which is cool. But like I've just always thought, like I don't mind practicing with a heavier drumstick, but if I'm actually playing for long times, it's got to be something practical.
Yeah.
Like I don't think.
Well, that's the thing. When we used to practice, we'd practice fucking 6, 7, 8 hours a day.
Hours and piss the neighbours off,
Like,
depending where we were.
Yeah, like fucking big time. But as well, like fuck, I looked at my influences like guitar wise,
Yeah.
and James Hetfield was big for me,
Yeah.
and that's why I learnt down picking. I'd do everything down picking
Yeah.
because Hetfield did.
Yeah.
Then later on, as I discovered more guitarists, like I've never played lead. I should have got into lead years ago, but we always had lead guitarist,
Yeah.
so I've always just played rhythm.
Yeah.
And then I found it a bit restricting when I used to sing at the same time as well, because then it's sort of like you're fucking glued to a microphone. When I get a chance, you jump back and you fucking do the windmill when I used to have long hair and shit and stuff like that. But then I thought, these days if I'm going to start doing music again,
Yeah.
which I'm getting back into at the moment, I think rather than doing the frontman thing, I'd rather just play. So I can jump around like a fucking dick.
Do what you want to do.
Have fun.
Yeah.
You know, something we never had to do before, and then I'm not up there, but at the same time, if I can't find a fucking singer, I'm probably going to end up slotting back into doing the lead vocal thing again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Music's a funny thing because there's so many bands, metal bands, everything out there, but I don't know. It's just too. Some things are just too generic. You know, I don't know how they're still around, how they make money. But
Well, that's I find a lot of the bands that I used to get into, like a lot of the bands I just mentioned, and probably a shitload more that I haven't mentioned. Like I listened to probably their first 3 or 4 albums. A lot of the newest shit I don't listen to.
yeah, same. A lot of the new stuff. Like I was really skeptical. We spoke a bunch about this, and that's probably another conversation. Just the new Slipknot album that came out back in last year, and I was really skeptical. I was going to the gig for their tour to Australia with Metallica as a Metallica fan.
We're going to the
We
gig.
were going to the gig as a Metallica fan, and then the album came out, and I'm like, nope, I'm going to the back. I'm a Slipknot fan. So, and then they fucking cancelled anyway. So
Yeah. No, I found. I mean, fuck. I love their first 3 albums, Slipknot. And like I said, what we've talked about off camera about Subliminal Verses for me was one of my favourites. But that comes back to when I had to learn to sing.
Yeah.
That was my go-to album.
Yeah.
I still love fucking self-titled in Iowa, and I probably rate them higher than I'd rate Subliminal Verses. But just I suppose I have some sort of attachment to that album because I was listening to it so much as I was trying to sing.
If we forget about All Hope Is Gone, like completely, in an alternate,
just fucking scrap that one.
Alternate universe, if that wasn't there, for me, their albums would probably, like, in terms of my favourites, my list one to last would be like pretty much How It Flows as it is naturally, but then I'd switch chapter 5 with the new one.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. It would go self-titled, Iowa, Subliminal Verses, then fucking We're Not Your Kind, and then probably equal 5th for fucking All Hope Is Gone and
chapter 5. So the only thing I like is that Skeptic, because that was like a tribute to Paul, and that was actually a good song, and AOV was a good song, but the whole album I just didn't really dig it.
I think
I struggled to get through cover to cover.
The new album, I think there's a lot of anger in that. The anger should have been in losing Paul, but I think because they all had so much fucking guilt, it was more coming from writing. Like, don't quote me on that because I'm not fucking Slipknot. I don't know. Yeah. But the way it comes across is that should have been an angry fucking album.
And they just
it was more of a
they had like a
lost album in a sense.
They had a dual lineup change as well. They had a new drummer and a new bass player. So you would have thought that would have been a little bit more aggressive album, but.
Yeah, well, that's the thing as well, but how much did they actually write of that? Did the bass player write his own shit, or was Jim and Mick taking care of all that?
Yeah, there's a lot of ifs and buts that no one will ever know, so we can all speculate. But
well, that's another thing. Like, we'll probably make that an episode at some stage, so we'll just chat about Slipknot, because there's all the drama with Joey. Shit they're going through with Chris at the moment, so I reckon we leave that one for another one.
Yeah, that's cool. Moving on. Other than that.
But I don't know, we can even wrap up there if you want. Just a nice short one for the first episode. And
yeah, man, you can do.
Cover some of these topics in more detail.
25 minutes.
Alright, cheers for watching. See you in the next one.
Cheerio.